Hello, I'm Ron Haltermon WA4HWN. I hope you enjoyed the tour of the Ten Tec factory. And now I'd like to show you a little bit about the model 538 Ten Tec Jupiter HF transceiver. By the way, it's made in the USA. The Jupiter offers many amenities, including full DSP. Full DSP means that you get a lot of features that would otherwise be unavailable because of the high cost or because of size. You may be aware of the Ten Tec Pegasus, which is computer controlled. The Jupiter is basically the Pegasus, but it has been put into a box, a cabinet, if you will, along with dials and buttons. It does have built-in Pegasus emulation, which will allow you to decide for yourself whether or not you wish to use it with a computer or as a standalone radio. This transceiver is menu-driven, and it is extremely user-friendly, having only one menu, thusly. To operate this rig or change any of the menu items, you hit the menu button and you can turn the cursor by turning your tuning dial. You move the cursor up or down and you can set or reset any of the default modes to whatever you like. Let's take a look now at the front panel of this Jupiter. Here we have an anti-notch button, then the noise reduction. Both of these are DSP. Next we have an attenuator offering 20 dB of attenuation. The rig offers 8 built-in frequencies for spectral sweeping. In other words, from 240 Hertz to 2.4 megahertz, you can sweep the band and detect activity. This is really great. For instance, we're looking for openings on 10 meters. You can look at a 2.4 megahertz portion of the band and the activity will show up. Next we have a voice-operated relay button. Next we have a tune switch, which allows you to choose your output power, running anywhere from 5 watts to full output of 100 watts for tune-up with automatic antenna tuners or into a manually operated tuner. We then have the mode button, which allows you the choice of AM, FM, single sideband, CW, digital modes, upper and lower sideband, of course. Here we have the band switch. At the moment, the VFO-A is on 20 meters. You push the band switch and you cycle through each of the ham bands. Right through the 10 meter band and back down through 17 and back down to 20 meters. Below this button we have the split. And if you split the band, you can hit the reverse button up here in the right hand corner and momentarily monitor VFO-B. As soon as you let up on the button, you go right back to VFO-A. We have A equals B. Now what this means is that your VFO-A frequency will equal VFO-B's frequency if you punch this button. Then below that, A over B means that you invert them. A becomes B, B becomes A. Your frequencies are inverted. Now below the Ten Tec logo on the right side of the cabinet, we have 3 LEDs. The first one indicating that you are transmitting or in the transmit mode. The second one is the automatic limiting control indicator, which shows that you are modulating properly, and the receive power indicator, showing that the unit is on and the power is applied. Below the 3 LEDs, we have a receive offset button, which if you hit that, like so, you can then come down to this knob and turn it, and this adjusts your receive frequency without bothering the transmit frequency. Conversely, if you hit the XIT button, which is right below the receive switch, then you're adjusting only the transmit frequency and not the receive. Down here, next to the tuning knob, we have an LCK or lock button. This just merely locks the frequency that you are tuned to keep you from accidentally moving off frequency should you accidentally hit the tuning knob. On the upper left side of the panel, we have a bandwidth switch, which, as indicated on the LCD screen here, at the moment is showing 2400, which is pretty much the default that most hams operate with on sideband. Now, you can turn this knob, and you can select any user desired filter up to 8,000 for AM, maximum AM reception, or down to as little as 300 hertz for your CW operation or digital communication modes. Okay, let's take a look now at the passband tuning feature that the Ten Tec Jupiter offers the user. I think they've done a good job with it. Let's eavesdrop on a QSO on the 40-meter band that's being interfered with strongly by a foreign broadcast station. Now you can hit your notch button. That does a good job of taking out the carrier. Okay, we can hit this button over here, passband tuning, and adjust the passband tuning knob. Okay, that cleans it up a lot. That makes a good Q5 copy. To show you, we hit the passband tuning button to turn it off. Turn it back on. And you can do further adjusting. There's an AM carrier in there, of course, and which we're taking out, and you can still hear their audio. They are right on the frequency. But without that passband tuning, rough copy. For UCW buffs, the Jupiter offers many amenities that will lend itself well to your service. For instance, here we have two CW signals coming in basically on the same frequency. With the passband tuning or filtering, either one, we can affect a big change. Let's go to the bandwidth. Right now we're at 2400, which is a standard sideband signal. We can cut this down. At 900, the offending station is gone. Back. To show you how narrow it is, there's 1500, 1350, 12. Ten Tec is well noted for their CW operational characteristics, and the Jupiter is certainly no exception to the Ten Tec rule. There's one knob, adeptly called the multi-knob. It offers control over many of the facets and amenities offered in the Ten Tec Jupiter. For instance, the audio gain control, which is the default, by the way, but this gives you complete control. By turning the multi-knob, we can turn the audio gain up and down. RF control from 100%. If you're getting a lot of splatter from an adjacent station, you can reduce it all the way down to 0 and back up. Next, we have the passband tuning control, which we showed you earlier. That activates this passband tuning knob right here. Then we have the mic control, which allows you to increase your mic gain from 100% down to 0. Normally, we operate it at around 50%. And by the way, the Jupiter can be used with many, many different types of microphones. You are not necessarily locked into any particular mic. Okay, next we have the power button. We hit that. We're operating at 100% full output at basically 100 watts. We can reduce that power down to 50, or we can reduce it on down to as little as 3 to 5 watts at the 0% level. I think it's important to note that the Jupiter is capable of running at 100% duty cycle for up to 20 minutes without a cooling fan. Now, if the user chooses, he can provide a cooling fan right back here on the fins, and you can run it indefinitely at 100% duty cycle. The Jupiter will permit you to store up to 128 frequencies in its memory bank. It's simple to do. Merely dial in the desired frequency, go to the VFO to memory button, you push that, If you notice on the bottom of the screen, we're showing a save to memory location 0. Dial in the desired location. We'll put this one in 5. Push the button again. Now the next time you wish to recall that same frequency, you push on the memory to VFO button and dial with your multi-knob to that location, which was location 5, and you're back to that desired frequency. Now let's take a look at the step button. This allows the user to select the tuning rate. This button right here, step, if I push it, you will see that the 100 Hertz is highlighted, and this is the rate at which we've been tuning during this demonstration. But let's say we want to go to just 1 Hertz. Okay? We're tuning at 1 Hertz. I mean, this is getting down to the nitty-gritty. Let's say you really want to go big, and we'll hit this again. And up here, we hit this button, and I'll describe that in just a moment. Now we're at 0.1 or megahertz or 100,000. Watch how fast we tune. 30, 0. Back to 30. Very quick. That's for if you're really in a hurry. Okay, let's go back to the 100 Hertz setting. Now what I'm doing is, if you punch the step button, it highlights 1, 10, 100, 1K or 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, and 0.1 or 100,000. And when you hold this button or push this button, this activates each of these buttons in the top row, which becomes your selection switch for the desired tuning rate. Let's say we want the 10, which is right here. Okay, hit the button, hit this below the 10, now we're tuning at 10. The Model 538 also offers full QSK, as well as a spotting switch that allows the user to pick his own volume level. Now let's discuss the all-important alt or alternate key. You'll notice that we have a row of yellow labels immediately beneath the top row of buttons. This yellow label is activated by pushing on the alt key. For instance, AGC. Let's change that level. It's currently on fast, as denoted right here on the screen, FST. If you hit the alt key, AGC, you cycle through slow, medium, fast. Okay, moving on, we got the keyer speed. Hit the alt key. You can adjust your keyer speed with the multi-knob. Hit the alt key, go to squelch. You can adjust your squelch level with the multi-knob. Hit the alt key, go to side tone. You can adjust your side tone level with the multi-knob. Hit the alt key, go to monitor level. You can adjust the monitor audio level with the multi-knob. Hit the alt key, and over here on monitor, you hit that, and your monitor is activated. We're presently using the excellent Model 705 Ten Tec desktop microphone with this Jupiter. Any Ten Tec microphone using a 4-pin connector works without change. Most dynamic, ceramic, crystal, or electret microphones also work with this transceiver. Now, when adapting another microphone for use with the Jupiter, they do include a spare 4-pin microphone plug. Be sure to use shielded cable to prevent any RF interference. Electret microphones and some with built-in preamps will require the plus 9 volts DC, which, by the way, is available at pin 4. The bass response of the sideband transmitter envelope is adjustable from the menu. There is a standard jack on the Jupiter used for connecting 8-ohm stereo or mono headphones. And there are 2 methods available for keying the transceiver in CW mode. The front panel key jack provides CW with a straight key, bug, or external keyer. We're presently using an iambic keyer. To use Jupiter's internal keyer with your iambic or single lever paddle, use the 1/4 inch stereo plug supplied in the packing kit. A menu function allows the CW operator to configure the key jack to accept either a monaural or stereo plug using the multi-knob function. All functions pertaining to CW configurations are accessible via the menu, including the keying loop, CW QSK delay, CW weighting, side tone frequency, side tone volume, spot volume, CW keyer, and your keyer speed. There are several rear panel connections on the Jupiter that allows you to interface to other station equipment with the transceiver. The SO239 antenna jack, and a wing nut grounding connector. On the left side is a 2-pin Molex power connector, a 25 amp blade fuse, automotive type, an accessory 1 jack, which is for interfacing equipment requiring audio input or output connections, for example a TNC or a phone patch. These connections also provide for digital mode operation. Transmit enable and transmit output. Now these are phono jacks that allow for QSK or full break-in linear amplifier keying loop. They're operational only when enabled via the menu screen. The external TR connector provides for keying a non-QSK external linear amplifier. This connection does not use a relay. It's an open collector transistor switch rated for a maximum of 24 volts at 200 milliamps at the amplifier key line. There are 2 phono connectors providing 13.5 volts DC power for connecting accessory equipment. They are in parallel, and the maximum current available for both jacks combined is 2 amperes. The remote jack is for connection of the optional Model 302J or 302 remote encoder keypad via its included cable. The difference between the 2 models is only in the paint color. The serial interface provides for connection of the Jupiter to a COM port on your personal computer via a standard 9-pin serial port cable. This connection allows electronic updates of the firmware in Jupiter's flash ROM and operation in the Pegasus emulation mode of the remote control. The upper left jack is for connecting an external speaker of your choosing. The spare phono connector has no connection as supplied from the factory and is available for custom applications, while the accessory 2 jack is available for future use. Note the huge heat sink on the back of the Jupiter, which, as we mentioned before, will permit you to operate at a full 100% duty cycle for as long as 15 to 20 minutes without a fan. There are several Ten Tec station accessory items that are suitable for use with the Jupiter. The 963 13.8 volt DC 25 amp power supply, the 302J remote tuning encoder keypad, the 306 4-pin to 2-pin power supply cable adapter, the 701 hand microphone, the 705 desk microphone, a 4-pin microphone connector, and a 2-pin DC connector with pins. The instructions supplied with the optional 302J remote encoder keypad tell you how to remotely operate several of Jupiter's features. The Jupiter is also available with an optional internal or external automatic antenna tuner, which can handle an SWR as high as 10:1. Although the Jupiter is very tolerant of high SWR, it is suggested that you always use a properly tuned antenna. Jupiter's serial interface and built-in Pegasus emulation mode provide the transceiver with remote control from a computer RS-232 port. Jupiter uses Pegasus software in this mode. Upon detection of Pegasus commands, the Jupiter display screen shows the legend Pegasus emulation mode, and the normal front panel controls go inactive. Jupiter then responds much as the Pegasus does. Pegasus emulation software is available by downloading it from the Ten Tec website at www.tentec.com.